Thank you very much, Bob Elrod, for those kind remarks. Gil Woods, Secretary Cisneros, I'm delighted to have you with me here today, and I thank you for your outstanding work in the area of housing, for all the things you are doing to make our country a better place. I also would like to thank the United States Marine Corps Band from El Toro, who played before I came. I thank them. I am delighted to be here with all of you, including, I understand, hundreds of you from 36 nations, including some newly emerging economies who've traveled here for this convention. I was kind of looking forward to coming here today. You know, Saturday is traditionally moving day in America, and families think about moving toward new homes. For me, it was just another opportunity to move out of Washington and come see you. This has been an interesting 2 years for me. There have been some great times and some not so great times, some that were exhilarating and some that were nearly bizarre. Some days I feel like the boy who told his mother that he really didn't feel like going to school. And his mother said, "But son, you have to go to school. I've raised you to do the right thing." He said, "But it's not fun for me at school anymore, Mother. I mean, the students don't like me. The teachers don't like me. The coaches groan when I walk by. Even the custodial workers don't like me." She said, "Son, you have got to go to school. You're intelligent, you're healthy, you don't have a good excuse. Besides, you're 45 years old and you're the principal." So I tried to show up regardless, and I'm glad to show up here today. Today I want to talk with you about the dream of home ownership and the larger American dream of which it is a part, and what we can do together to keep the economic renewal that began 21 months ago going. I ran for president of this great land of ours because I felt that for too long our national government had neglected issues that are fundamental to our national strength, our security and our future. Good jobs, strong families, better schools, safe streets, and a world more full of security, trade, freedom, and peace. In this country, when I took office, we had already been grappling for 30 years with profound social problems that have disturbed every person in this great hall today, affecting the breakdown of our families, our communities, the rise of crime and drugs and gangs and guns. We have lived, and certainly you have lived, with about 20 years of economic stagnation for many ordinary Americans who are the bulk, the heart and soul of the home-buying public, people who work year in and year out for wages that have barely kept up and often have not kept up with inflation. And we had had 12 years of a policy which became loosely known as trickle-down economics, with which I deeply disagreed, and with which you, as an association, at least disagreed with specific parts of, as I heard in my introduction, the things that we reversed from the '86 Tax Act. When I became president, we put together an economic strategy that was comprehensive in approach, long-term in vision, but quite basic. Reduce the deficit, change the way government works, make it smaller with less regulation, more efficiency, a greater emphasis on partnership, and increase the impact of the things that you should do. Ease the credit crunch, help small business, invest more in the security of our families and the skills of our people, invest in new technologies and defense conversions, increase trade. We have pursued this strategy with discipline and persistence and success. The deficit includes a spending cut of $255 billion. This year alone, it is $100 billion less than it was projected to be when I took office. And we are looking at 3 years of deficit reduction in a row for the first time since Harry Truman was the President of the United States. In changing the way government works in this country, we have adopted now 2 budgets covering 6 years, which will reduce the size of the federal government by 272,000 to its smallest size since John Kennedy was the President of the United States. Already there are 70,000 fewer workers working for the federal government than there were on the day I was inaugurated president. We have deregulated banking, deregulated trucking. We have gone a long way to deregulate federal rules and regulations on states, giving 20 states permission to try their own ideas to move people from welfare to work, giving 9 states permission to try their own ideas to find ways to increase the number of working people who have health insurance in this country. We are working hard to change the way the national government relates to our schools with very strong national standards of excellence in education, but deregulating the way the schools meet those standards, instead emphasizing local reforms, grassroots initiatives, all kinds of changes initiated by people at the local level to help achieve the kind of learning that we simply have to have if our people are going to compete and win in the 21st century. And inasmuch as I am here in Orange County, I have to say a special word of thanks to a member of my administration who happens to be an Orange County Republican. Roger Johnson, who runs the General Services Administration, has helped to spearhead our Reinventing Government initiative to make sure that we not only downsize the government, that we also make the government work better. If you ask the people in California, for example, we rebuilt all the highways out here that were damaged by the earthquake in about half the time that people said we could do it if we worked flat out.